Hi, it's Marisa. Today, what I'm going to share with you is a little story that illustrates not only how men and women think differently, but also how we tend to have a habit of attaching meaning to our experiences, oftentimes creating unnecessary pain and suffering. So I'm going to read this little story to you so that you can get an idea of what I'm talking about. So at the end of a day, a woman writes in her diary, "Tonight I thought my husband was acting weird. We had made plans to meet at a nice restaurant for dinner. I was shopping with my friends all day long, so I thought he was upset at the fact that I was a bit late, but he made no comment on it. Conversation wasn't flowing, so I suggested that we go somewhere quiet so we could talk. He agreed, but he didn't say much. I asked him what was wrong. He said nothing. I asked him if it was my fault that he was upset. He said he wasn't upset, that it had nothing to do with me and not to worry about it. On the way home, I told him that I loved him. He smiled slightly and kept driving. I can't explain his behavior. I don't know why he didn't say I love you too. When we got home, I felt as if I had lost him completely, as if he wanted nothing to do with me anymore. He just sat there quietly and watched TV. He continued to seem distant and absent. Finally, with silence all around us, I decided to go to bed. About 15 minutes later, he came to bed, but I still felt that he was distracted and his thoughts were somewhere else. He fell asleep. I cried. I don't know what to do. I'm almost sure that his thoughts are with someone else. My life is a disaster. And now, what the husband wrote in his diary. Boat wouldn't start. Can't figure it out. And that was it. So it might have given you a little chuckle to hear that story. And yet, when you think about it, here's the woman who's distraught, feeling that her husband might be having an affair, there's something going on because he's not communicating with her. And really, all he had on his mind was the fact that his boat wasn't starting and he didn't know why. Now, the woman did attempt to have a conversation with her husband and ask him what was wrong. And when he said nothing, she didn't tell him how that made her feel. And that's where she ended up making up all this meaning about what it really meant. Instead of saying to him, I know you're saying this has nothing to do about me, but I'm feeling a little bit insecure about the fact that you're kind of distant. If you wouldn't mind just telling me what's going on, I would feel a whole lot better. Chances are if she had expressed authentically what she was feeling, her husband would have explained a little bit more. But instead, she kept those feelings to herself and ended up crying herself to sleep that night. So I'd like to ask you this. Have you ever had a situation where you've had an experience with someone where you felt really upset or hurt, disappointed, possibly angry, and you didn't express it and you made up all kinds of things about it? If so, why don't you share below what your experience was and what actually happened? It can really help us a lot to share one another's experiences on times when we've made things mean something that caused us to experience pain and suffering when in fact it had nothing to do with us at all. I look forward to reading about your experiences, and until the next video, send you love and blessings. Bye for now.